Hello, Doomers. It is I. I'm back talking to you from the hellscape once again, where, as you can see, I'm still lamentably trapped in human form. Oh dear, oh dear. So I decided to have the chats with the Doomers this evening because I think I haven't made a video in a few months and I have been AWOL. I've been AWOL. I did receive a few nice messages from Doomers just checking in, asking me, Ian, are you still alive? Are you still alive, Ian? Or have you made the wise decision to shuffle off the mortal coil? I'm here tonight to provide proof of life. I don't have a newspaper to prove the date, so this could be an elaborate charade. Maybe I unalived previously, and this is being uploaded posthumously. So you're going to have to trust me. You're going to have to trust me, Doomers. This is March uh, the 12th, 2025, I think. I think we can all agree that 2025 is already fucking fabulous. It's it's just beautiful in every respect. We will discuss the fabulousness of 2025 in due course as we meander our way through the horrors that surround us on a daily basis globally. I can't remember the last time we did speak. I think it was the end of last summer. I think I was talking about butterflies and winged insects. Yeah, I think. I don't know. My memory isn't great, but I think we were talking about all of that good stuff. Butterflies being fucked, winged insects not doing great. New report released last week suggested that the old butterflies in America are particularly fucked. Bollocks. But anyway, we won't talk about that. That's dangerously close to educational content. I think it was the end of last summer. I was thinking about watching the last video I uploaded just to this is gonna hear what I was talking about. Just give me a sense of when it was and what was happening in my life, and indeed the global hellscape in which we are all trapped. But I immediately decided that was a bad decision. It's like, don't, Ian. Don't listen to one of these fucking things. If other people want to listen to it, that's fine. That's very much your business. That's between you and your therapist or psychiatrist. That's your bag. Um, I don't really want to listen to these myself. It's because I'm self-conscious. So, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know when it was. End of last summer, I think. I remember I was talking about a storm in one. Saw a fabulous storm. I think that was the middle of the summer. More towards the end. I think. So yeah. I don't really know why I didn't upload a video since then. Um, well, I don't know. I have a fair idea. Primarily just because I couldn't be arsed. I couldn't be arsed. It was very much kind of run away from the computer and go and talk to a tree or spend time with the robins, do anything that isn't sitting in front of a computer. Um, so yeah, the primary reason was just because I wanted to disconnect. Secondarily, I was poleaxed again by some respiratory condition. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was influenza A or some horrific COVID variant. But essentially, I got it in October. It destroyed me. I couldn't really speak for 2.5, 3 months. I could speak. I was coughing a lot, breathing issues. It very much have interrupted the flow. My voice is still shitty, and I will cough during this. That will happen. I will cough regularly. Je suis désolé. It is what it is. But I got fucking destroyed from this fucking sickness again. Debilitating. Debilitating. It was completely debilitating for at least 3 weeks. Couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe, just constant coughing. And then it kind of moderated into just very, very, very persistent cough and breathlessness. My doomer died. He was also, yeah, he was also besieged by the whatever the fuck the virus was. He got poleaxed too. He lives with his ex partner. She was wiped out. She spent a nice bit of time in hospital, and she had to go to hospital on several occasions because her systems were collapsing. She couldn't breathe. She was fucked. I visited them last night. She's since been released from hospital. She was okay at the start, but last night I did notice that she was coughing violently again, which is an ill portent. Um, so yeah, but the family that talks to me, we were kind of wiped out in unison for months on end. So that was, yeah, arguably the primary reason that I didn't say hi to the Doomers, and it was fucking winter. It was fucking miserable, miserable winter. Particularly during winter, you have to take advantage of the mornings and the afternoons. Skedaddle out to a nature spot, enjoy a little bit of disconnect time. It's absolutely vital. So that took, that sort of took primacy over and above chatting to the Doomers via different social media platforms. So that was also a reason. But primarily it was because I was coughing up my lungs. Everyone is fucked. I imagine a lot of the people unlucky enough to listen to this evening also experienced quite terrible illnesses during the last few months. You know, it's just it's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. Um, yeah, the old flu is a little bit more supercharged than it was back in the day. Although, no, we did have influenza A back in, it was 2009 with swine flu. But on the plus side, bird flu seems to have stabilized somewhat. And people have died. A chap in Louisiana died. Cambodian 2-year-old died 3 weeks ago. No one gave a fuck about that. When the guy in Louisiana died, some of the mainstream news actually picked up the story and they said, oh shit, dude in Louisiana died when a 2.5-year-old dies in Cambodia. No, don't give a fuck. I don't even think it made Reuters. made, yeah, very few of the mainstream news platforms because yeah, they just don't care. Don't care. But it happened previously. There was other deaths in Cambodia. It just wasn't picked up. I was like, nah, we're just going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about Trump. Yeah, we'll try not to talk about Trump if possible. If possible, we won't. So, as I said, I don't know what we were discussing in our previous video. Presumably, I was slagging off normies or in my typical way and maybe discussing stuff in my life that was bad and, you know, meeting wildlife when I was out and about. Presumably it was that kind of thing. But I don't know the details of what we discussed. And I don't really know what we're going to discuss now. Obviously, I haven't prepared anything. You know, I didn't spend a few months writing a script. I'm going to reimagine my podcast. I'm going to take it seriously now. I'm going to prepare stuff for it. Um, yeah, as you can see, I have new lighting, otherwise known as turning on the light. That's how I prepared for it. I spent money on a light bulb. Yeah, I should get a microphone too. I should get rid of this fucking thing, but yeah, it is what it is. Mm, Sláinte. Um, so yeah, we're not going to talk about the news. Yeah, we know we won't talk about the news. Um, I don't know what to talk about. So it was the end last summer. Was last time we spoke. Did shit happen? Well, obviously, every time I leave the house, I am tormented and assailed by normies left, right, and centre that crawl out of the woodwork with their technological fuckwankery and try to accost my senses in any way possible. So that happens on a daily basis, but I don't think that necessarily warrants a video. You know, it's not sufficient to warrant a video. So maybe we'll just riff about the last few months in general. We'll just have a general catch up. Like when two normies meet for a frappuccino and they go, oh, well, what have you been doing? It's like, oh, funny you asked that, yeah. I just essentially been fucking driving around in circles. Just driving around in circles, consuming shit. That's why. What have you been doing? It's a snap. I have also been driving around in fucking circles, consuming shit. All right, right. Well, what shit have you been consuming? All of the shit. Me too. So anyway, yeah, we'll have a general catch up like the normies, but it'll be slightly different. We won't talk about driving around or going to the supermarket. Well, we might talk about going to the supermarket, but only the challenges of the same, you know. Only if I experienced a particular bad trip to the supermarket, which I probably have. It just hasn't occurred to me yet. So as I said, I kind of got poleaxed in October. That's when I got the pox, influenza or whatever, fucking swine flu, or I don't know, maybe I was licking toads, but something crept into my body and fucked me up for months. Same with Doomer Dad, and same with Doomer Dad's ex, who lives with him. But everyone is alive, and hopefully my voice isn't too bad. And hopefully I won't do too much of that. But if I do, shit happens. Shit happens. So yeah, in October, uh, I should really prepare more for these. Um, so shit, I'm just actually gonna have to think about what happened in October. Oh, Halloween. Halloween happens in October, Ian. Halloween. What did I do for Halloween? I didn't go trick or treating. I didn't throw on a bin bag like I did when I was a young kid. Uh, in Ireland in the 80s, Halloween was quite a grim time. Nobody had money, so nobody could afford fancy costumes. So, particularly in working class areas, so I wasn't jumping around in my Spider-Man costume. That just didn't happen. Instead, all of the little proletarian children essentially had the same costume. One moment, there was so essentially, the one costume was that we all wore bin bags. So you'd put a bin bag, or you'd cut a hole for your head, and you'd cut two holes for your arms. So the bin bag, the lovely bin bag, that would constitute the majority of the Halloween costume. Then usually we had these terrible masks that were sold in the local supermarkets. Uh, they weren't really monsters. I don't know well what the desired effect of these things were. So it might be kind of slightly like a skull or a face with a scar made of plastic. Uh, but it would only sort of go down around here, and the plastic would cut into your neck very much. And then there's elastic band that held this quite painful mask in place that wasn't necessarily scary. The icing on the cake was that they always seem to affix artificial curly hair onto the mask. So you'd be wearing a skull mask, which was badly designed because it was cheap. Uh, Made of terrible plastic that again did cut into the face and the neck, so it was uncomfortable to wear. And then they decided to have long curly hair projecting out of the mask. So you'd be there in your bin bag with your fucking stupid fucking mask and the curly hair. So that was essentially what every kid wore trick or treating. Now, obviously, the cool cats in America, you very much did all the pumpkin shit and carving pumpkins and all that stuff. In Ireland, we couldn't do that. Now, I don't know if there were simply no pumpkins or they were too expensive, but we couldn't do that. But the Irish improvised, as we are wont to do. We improvised just to ensure that the kids could have a fun Halloween. So you'd be there in their shitty masks, long curly hair, bin bags, and if you were lucky, now this is only if your parents were sound and they actually decided to go the extra yard, providing their children with a meaningful Halloween. Some kids, didn't enjoy this perk. They were just wearing the bin bag, stupid fucking mask, long hair. But if you were very lucky, you wouldn't get the pumpkin shit. But what they would do is my mother used carve out a turnip. So she'd hollow out a turnip and she'd cut in the eyes, usually just the eyes, and she'd put, I don't know, a shoelace through it so you could carry it, and then put a little tea light in the carved out turnip. So then you'd be sent out on your way in the evening. Oh, it's dark. And this is back in the day when it was normal. You could just, oh yeah, just go out on your own. You'll be fine. There was no cars. And, I don't know, maybe the priest was otherwise engaged. So my parents sensed that there'd be little sort of to worry about if I just went out trick or treating on my own or with a group of friends. So you shuffle out the door, bin bag, mask, long hair, and your hollowed out turnip. And you just do your fucking trick or treating. And it was lovely. It was lovely. And you'd go around and you might get sweets in some shop or in some houses, trick or treat, and it might give you a sweet. If you're unlucky, you get a few monkey nuts. I threw a few monkey nuts in there, or even three grapes. So here's three grapes, kids. Don't say thanks. It's my pleasure. Now fuck off. So it was that kind of thing. But if you were extra, extra lucky, and maybe if you called into a single guy, it was a nice guy, and he actually answered the fucking door, and he saw you there looking ridiculous in your bin bags with your stupid fucking turnip thing, might give you 10 pence. You know, here you go, lads. Here it is, 10 pence between the three of you. So run down to your shop there and buy 10 jellies or 10 sweets, whatever. So that was the kind of thing. You do that for a few hours. Great fun. Uh, then you'd go home and you'd do all the other shit. So you'd bob for apples, which in retrospect is like something that you do in Guantanamo Bay. It's just very unpleasant. It's like, oh, an apple is bobbing. What do I have to do? Oh, I have to dunk my head into the water to try to take a bite out of an apple, which I don't even really like. Do I have to do this, parents? Yes. Yes, Ian. You have to do it. It's Halloween. Get your head in the fucking basin and bite the fucking apple. So you do that kind of quasi torture, to try and seem enthusiastic. Yay, yay! I got three grapes tonight, 10 pence, and now I'm doing well, what essentially is something that you would do to torture someone. So that was one fun game that we'd always play on Halloween. Went down a storm. Went down a storm. Another one, which was equally unpleasant, and also involved apples. All of the Halloween shit. It's like, yeah, we just torment kids with games with apples that are actually very unpleasant and not fun. So we'll get them to dunk their heads in basins full of water, just fucking nearly drown trying to take a chunk out of a fucking apple first. That's how we will start. Then, as they're doing that, with I don't know, with a fucking shoelace or something, we'll attach an apple into a string or a shoelace, and attach it to the ceiling, or I don't know. I forget actually how this worked. Maybe a nail on the fucking wall. I don't know. And the thing was, so you have the apple sort of, just hanging on a fucking shoelace or something, and you'd have to take a bite out of it. But of course, as the apple go this way, and then it'd swing back and smack you in the head. And you'd still have to do it until you could take a bite out of the apple, even though there was no prize. There was never a prize. I don't remember there being a prize. The only prize was bragging rights. It's like, motherfuckers, I was the one who, after being hit by the apple 12 times, was able to take a wee bite out of it. Fuck you all. Yeah. So that was kind of my memories of Halloween when I was a kid. Yeah. Now this is when I was a younger kid. I wasn't doing this shit when I was 16. Or 12. This is kind of under 10. Um, yeah, so when you reach 10, Halloween is just more about mindless vandalism. Not vandalism, uh, but kind of gang warfare, minor gang warfare, where you try to egg boys from other neighborhoods. There'd be little invasions where kids from other neighborhoods would invade yours, and the whole point was to either use water balloons to drench them, fuck you, or eggs. you throw an egg at their head and slap off their head, and you go, fuck you, I'm just after ruining your tracksuit, you fucker. Back in the day, when you could just mindlessly use eggs. Now, obviously, you need a mortgage to engage in this type of shenanigans, but back in the day, it was a common practice. Or if there was a particular enemy that you had, you'd go and egg their house. Say, fuck you, Seamus. Fuck you. After smacking your house with 6 eggs, and in 2 days it'll smell like my arse. Fuck you. Um, all kind of innocent stuff. Highly annoying, but kind of innocent. So that was kind of the Halloween of yore. That's very much my experience of Halloween this year or last year. Kind of different. Well, it's the last few years, but particularly last Halloween, it did seem very, very different. So if yeah, well, I know what happened. I can't remember what happened. So I visited my doomer dad because I wanted to get out of the place that I live in because there are kids around and they would be fucking knocking on my windows. The trick or treat. And now obviously they're not wearing bin bags carrying turnips. You know, that shit has been shelved. If you put your kid in a bin bag and sent him out with a carved turnip, you'd be accused of child abuse. So they don't do that anymore. You know, so kids are jumping around in fucking Superman costumes or, you know, these really elaborate things, you know, fucking fairy princesses. They also go out before it's dark. So they'll be brought around, shepherded around by their parents, maybe, you know, sort of 5 or 6, and then dragged home, you know, but never left out on their own. You don't see kids trick or treating on their own because the second they stand out in a row, they're getting wiped out by a pickup truck. So that's not allowed. That's not allowed. So we're in really fancy fucking clothes, really fancy costumes, and they do it usually kind of dusk, is twilight. You know, their parents will bring around, but my fear was that they'd come my direction and I'd have to deal with kids. Not me. I just ignored the fuckers. But the fucking clown that I live with, he's very much the kind of guy now who'd get a kick out of that. He'd be outside that door. The door is there, and then the front door is outside that door, and he'd be out every 2 minutes going, "Oh Jesus Christ, what are you now? Are you Spider Man?" And this would go on forever. So I wisely decided to say, "Fuck this! Don't do that to yourself. You know, don't be sitting in here trying to doom scroll, checking shit about bird flu or, you know, geopolitical crises or yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Don't do that whilst listening to this clown talk to kids about bullshit. Run off, run off." So that's what I did. I visited my doomer dad. Doomer dad only lives 10 minutes away, so it's a short commute. So I went down there just to escape the little brats and their parents, and more to the point, the clown that I live with and his incessant need to make noise, usually outside that door. So when I visited the old man, it was kind of normal. It was you know, that dusk period. So you had the normie parents bring around the kids in the very elaborate disguises, costumes, whatever. But very quickly, because you know everything is dangerous now, and normies are afraid of the dark. So it's like, let's do trick or treating early now, kids, because when it gets dark, the werewolves come out. So that, you know, like boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, bum 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 bum. So they were doing the rounds but it was still early. So I visited my old man, and my old man is a partisan of television. He likes the boob tube. He does. He does. Uh, he's one of these chaps. He'll wake up in the morning. He'll get up. Oh, Jesus Christ! And he'll sort of move from his bedroom out to his living room and immediately turn on the TV. He's one of those guys. Most people do it. When I was young, it was yeah, I did that kind of thing occasionally, but other people do it more, because again they're just normies. The silence is killing them. That walk from the bedroom to their living room, and just there might be silence, and they can't hear noise. It's like uh, I'm alone with my thoughts, and they're driving me insane. So I need to rush into the room and turn on the idiot box as quickly as possible to distract myself from the horror of cognition. Oh yes, so I visited Doomer Dad, and he was watching something on TV on Halloween night. He was watching something. Usually it's sports. He's one of these. I call him Doomer Dad. We talked about it before. He is a doomer. He thinks we're all fucked, but he's also able to dip his toe into Normie land, the free kingdom that is Normie land, and enjoy Normie activities on a level that I'm no longer able to do. So he can watch sports events in the past. I could watch sports events and go, "Yay, my team scored," and "Oh no, we lost," and sort of invest in the sports event. I can't do that anymore. He can. He can still, maintain some kind of normie enthusiasm, and in particular, an appreciation of sports. And he watches them all, like my normie bro. He watches every conceivable sport. I told you before, my bro watches cricket, which is strange in Ireland, but he'll watch that kind of thing. Uh, with my doomer dad, he usually watches rugby. He'll watch Ireland, and his favourite rugby club is Munster. So he'll watch those. He loves British football. So he'll watch every British football match. He supports Liverpool, but he'll watch every match besides. It could be fucking anyone. It's like, who are we watching today? Oh, this is Bristol against Leighton Orient, or something like this. Is it important? Is it important, Dad? No, no, it's not. This is the third division. But you still watch it. Or snooker. He loves snooker, which is, if you ever have problems sleeping, my recommendation is to watch a bit of snooker on the television. For peeps who are based in America, you probably don't even know what snooker is. Snooker is a sport like pool, but a posh version of pool, an elevated version of pool. I think it was invented in India originally. I might be wrong, guys. I'm not Googling that shit. Fuck's sake. But it's like pool, you've got a cue. There's fucking balls, and you have to hit the balls into a little pocket. There's six pockets. But there's more rules. So he watches a lot of that. And as I said, if you do have problems sleeping, it's a good remedy, because if you watch some fucking snooker, you're gonna be snoozing very, very soon. Um, and, and the thing with snooker is, uh, so it was invented in India, but I think it was kind of rebranded in England, and they relaunched it maybe in the 50s or 60s, and it's a very reserved sport. So all of the guys were, sort of white shirts with bow ties, and sort of very almost like a dress code. The other thing about it is that absolute silence is required. So all the normies in the audience have to maintain absolute silence. Such that if a snooker player is lining up a shot, "Oh, look, I need to hit that black ball into the corner pocket now, so I'm going to really concentrate." And if a normie spectator in the audience opens up a wee sweet, the referee or the umpire or whatever he's called will say, "Ah! Shut up! Don't do that again." Or the worst thing is if your phone goes off. If your phone goes off, they bring you out the back and flog you. It's like, fuck you. Do not interrupt the snooker. So I almost appreciate snooker for that kind of approach. I think we should wheel that out in every sport. It's like, everyone shut the fuck up. I know you're all dying to make shitloads of noise with your sweet rappers and your phones. But if anyone makes a noise, we're going to kneecap you. So I think that should be rolled out across the board in every sporting event or other life situations. Actually, so I do have begrudging respect for snooker on the grounds that they do encourage silence. Like, just be cunis. Be cunis is Gaelic for be quiet, be silent. So I do like that. But recently, it has come to my attention that they have launched a new type of snooker. They've launched a new type of snooker. So in standard snooker, quietness is mandatory. If you make any noise, you will be publicly humiliated and shamed on the basis that you're interrupting the player's concentration. The matches are also very ponderous, so you'll get like players walking around, sort of, thinking about stuff and taking an age to take a shot. It's like, oh no, actually, I've changed my mind. I'm going to go around the other side of the table now and look at the angles and all this. So one game could last ad infinitum. If you're unlucky, it could just go on forever. So it has come to my attention that they've launched a new type of snooker, which I call normie snooker. This was definitely the normies got together and they had a discussion about snooker and ways it could be improved. So in the new version of snooker, I don't know what it's fucking called. It's some stupid name, like Powerball, or it's some stupid fucking normie name. So it's not even called snooker. It's like, no, it's not called snooker anymore, guys. Let's call it Powerball. It might not be called Powerball. Again, I'm not googling it. If you're sufficiently interested in various types of snooker, you can Google it. Um, but anyway, they changed the game a lot. So whereas in orthodox snooker, the players are allowed to walk around the table ad infinitum, considering the various possibilities for scoring a pot or whatever. But this one, it's against the clock. It's like you have 10 seconds to take your shot. Take your fucking shot. So that's the thing. And they've introduced a beeping sound. So it's like beep, beep, beep. And the closer you get to the deadline, whatever, the buzzer, it'll get faster. Beep, 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 beep. So they introduced beeping sounds. Very quiet sport. In snooker proper, open a sweet wrapper, get punched in the face, get thrown out, ejected. Now it's like, no, no, well, we need to install beeping sounds. We need beeping sounds in snooker. Like when you're reversing a car, the beep, 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 that kind of thing. We'll introduce that in snooker. The other thing that they've wisely decided to allow is complete bedlam in the audience. So not only can you open up your sweet wrapper, you can engage in football chants, you can scream abuse at the players, and they positively encourage dancing. So between games, a game in snooker is called a frame, but between, they'll have dance music and all the audience will be but even during the game, they're all screaming, let's go fucking mental, let's go, that kind of thing. So, if you want to understand normies, just look at what they've done to snooker. A quiet game, very quiet game, reserved in its way. It is quite a reserved game. But then the normies just take snooker. Just go, oh yeah, we have to introduce beeps and buzzers. That's mandatory. We obviously have to include screaming. It's just not fun if we're not screaming. And to be honest, I'd like a wee dance in between games. I'd like a wee dance and a bit of dance music. Fucking hell. Normies know best. Oh, God. What are we talking about? Snooker. Bollocks. Yeah, again, my memory is shit, lads. This is also why I don't do these videos. I don't prepare. So it's very easy for me to lose my train of thought. Snookers. Oh, yeah. So my father loves snooker. That's why you're talking about snooker, and your father loves snooker. And they have developed a new type of snooker that is insufferable because it caters for normies and their various noise-making pathologies. Uh, oh yes, Halloween. Yeah, Halloween. So when I go down to my old man's, he's usually watching sports. Occasionally, he might watch a movie. I've watched movies with him. I can't remember one that I have watched um, recently. Oh no, I think we watched a little bit of No Country for Old Men, based on the Cormac McCarthy novel with Javier Bardem and his peculiar method of dispatching his victims. A movie I find to be overrated. But I did watch that with him recently, or at least an hour of the same. So we usually watch sports, but occasionally he will watch movies. Uh, yeah, or documentaries. He likes watching documentaries about World War II and the Nazis. Not just the Nazis, but well, they appear in most of the documentaries. You can't have a documentary about World War II without having Nazi lads appear. It'd be a strange documentary if they weren't mentioned. If it was just a bunch of British guys talking about the enemy. We must defeat the enemy. Who are the enemy? I don't know. So yeah, he watches documentaries, movies, and that kind of thing. And sometimes, oh Christ, I don't know. So I don't watch movies, but when I was very sick, I told you I was very sick in October, and I wasn't even really doom scrolling that much. I was so enfeebled that even like looking at screens kind of hurt my head, and particularly when you're looking around 40 screens at the same time, or well, moving between 40 tabs as doomers are wont to do. That becomes, yeah, it can become a little bit mentally taxing, and just visually difficult if you're a little bit sick. So I was watching movies. Now I don't have any of the sort of subscription fuckwankery that other people have. I don't have Netflix or Amazon, whatever. I had Netflix in the past, but I got rid of it because why do I have Netflix? Why does a Doomer have Netflix? What the fuck am I gonna look at on Netflix? So I don't have any of those. But I decided just to check if any movies were on YouTube that might be of interest to me. And I did find one that immediately I went, I'm going to watch this now. I feel like absolute shit. So I'm going to watch this because the subject's a little bit interesting. The actors are good. I do appreciate these actors. And this might distract me from the fact that I'm probably dying. And the movie I'm talking about is Vice. I don't know if you've watched the movie. It's about Dick Cheney. About Dick Cheney, the vice president during the presidency of George Bush Jr., who at the time was treated like an absolute imbecile. If you are an older doomer, you probably remember back in the noughties, George Bush Jr. There's sort of stuff on YouTube where they compiled all his most stupid fucking quotes, and he was always saying stupid fucking things and that kind of stuff. And everyone's going, how can this man be president? How can this fucking idiot be president? Flash forward to 2025, and George Bush Jr. seems like fucking Stephen Hawking. It's like bring him back. Can he run again? I want George Bush Jr. again. I know he invades countries for oil, and I know he says stupid shit, but still, I prefer that fucker to this fucking cunt. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, Cheney. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Dick Cheney was the dark overlord in the background of the presidency, and he essentially centralized all power. In his position. It's like, George, you just focus on complete nonsense. I'll handle all the boring stuff like foreign affairs and energy, and all that. So you just go and fucking pardon turkeys on Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. You'll enjoy that, George. So the movie was about that period of time. Great cast. Uh, Dick Cheney was played by Christian Bale, Batman. Batman played Dick Cheney, or the American Psycho. Patrick Bateman played Dick Cheney. Sam Rockwell played George Bush Jr. and the guy from Steve Carell, the guy from The Office, played Donald Rumsfeld. He was particularly good. I quite liked Steve Carell's version of Donald Rumsfeld. That was fun. Um, but anyway, it is obviously a serious topic because Dick Cheney was a monster. He was a fucking cunt. I presume Doomers know about Dick Cheney. I was surprised. Uh, I don't think I told this anecdote to a normie friend, and I thought it was a funny anecdote. And I told it to one of my normie friends, and I immediately knew that she didn't get the joke because she didn't know who Dick Cheney was, even though she is my age and she's very successful and a lecturer in university. But she didn't know who Dick Cheney was, Donald Rumsfeld. I presume she knew who fucking George Bush Jr. was. But I definitely know she didn't know who Dick Cheney was, so she didn't get the anecdote, which is alarming and an indictment. But normies be normies. Normies be normies. So, oh yeah, so anyway, I watched Vice. Serious movie, but they use a lot of humor. You know, Steve Carell is in it. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of humor. Um, but again, I presume you guys know, but let's do a quick refresher. Obviously, Dick Cheney had very serious cardiac issues. He had a lot of, heart attacks, that kind of thing. He was obviously a Republican and he was scrambling for power in the Republican Party. And he had a lesbian daughter who frequently was victim of ideological attacks on the basis of her sexuality. And, this was something he had to navigate. Oh, I'm a prick, I'm a Republican, and my daughter's gay. Which side do I choose? The old daughter or power? But in the movie, maybe at around, I don't know, the sort of maybe the 70-minute mark or the 75-minute mark, he has his heart conditions and his daughter's getting fucking pilloried in the right wing media. And they have a false ending. They have a false ending in the movie. Whereas and then Dick decided to, privilege his family, retire from politics, choose his daughter over power, and he became a world famous breeder of fucking Labrador dogs or something. And then they scrolled, they had the false credits, like it was the end of the movie. Now, obviously, it wasn't the end of the fucking movie because he goes on to do terrible fucking things. I think this in the movie. I think this was even before 9/11. But this was, it was early on in the movie. Where they had this funny false ending, and it did. It made me smile. It's like, jeez, that's a good little movie sort of technique. I enjoyed that. That made me smile. But so I watched it through. Very good movie, great performances, etc. I recommend it. I don't actually. I recommend no movies. I don't watch movies unless you're dying of the pox. If you can't do anything else, if you're so fucked with the pox that you can't even doom scroll, then maybe watch a movie. If you're watching a movie, maybe watch Vice. So I recommended it to the old man, to Doomer Dad. I was going, oh, this thing, it's available on YouTube and it's very good and very funny. I think you'll like it. So then a few weeks later, I visited him and he's got to watch that movie that you recommended. And he's got, yeah, it was good enough. It was good enough. Now, what happened was that he was out early. This was a Sunday, and Sundays are when he goes to the local football club and he supports the local football team. He obviously he likes all the sports, so he does follow the local soccer team. So he was down there going, "Hey, yay, local soccer team!" They have a clubhouse, So then he went into the clubhouse and he was having a few jars of Guinness with all his normie mates talking about the local football and just football in general, probably smoking a few military cigarettes, as he is wont to do. He's a miscreant. He's a child of the 60s, so he's probably smoking some military cigarettes too. But eventually, maybe at around 6 or 7, he scuttled off back to his house. He was, a little bit tipsy, and I was going, "Oh, I'll watch this fucking film that Ian recommended. I'll watch that." And anyway, he watched it. You know what the fucking punchline is. You know what the punchline is. So when I called down to him, I watched that movie, Voice. Yeah, it's a good movie, good movie. And I was going, yeah, it was a great movie, wasn't it? And he's going, it was. To be honest, I never knew. I never knew that he retired and became a Labrador breeder. Like, sorry, what? So yeah, poor Doomer died. He turned it off. He saw the credits and he was going, sure, that was a short movie. Short movie, but nice and compact. I got the message. Then he turned it off. Fucking clown. Oh God. I would like to say the ribbing was gentle, but it wasn't gentle. It was quite ferocious in my laughter. It's like, you bellend. You're a 70-year-old man. Can you not remember the rest of the fucking story? Like, how many fucking joints do you smoke on a daily basis? uh, so yeah, that was the last time I recommended a movie to the old man. Um, why are we talking about fucking movies? Oh, Halloween! Yes, yes. Jesus fucking Christ, how long has gone? 55 fucking minutes. Lads, this is gonna be a short catch up. I was gonna do the few months between between the end of summer and now. I'm not doing a few fucking months. So this is gonna be October. Okay. We were just talking about fucking October today. I'll come back in due course and tell you about all the terrible shit that happened in November and December and January and February. We'll just stick with October today because yeah, I have other stuff to do. I don't really, but I'm sick of talking. So yeah, we'll even speed it up. Ian, do not go down fucking tangents. Just get to the fucking point. So Halloween, I hate kids. I fucking hate Halloween. So I ran down to the old man's place, and he was watching shit on TV. Can't remember the shit. He was watching shit on TV. So we were sitting down, and dusk passed. And it was fine. It was like, Jesus, he didn't even get any trick or treaters. Think we got away with this, Doomer Dad. I think we got away with this. And then it started. Boom, boom, boom. Now, over the last few years in Ireland, more and more people have started using bangers on Halloween. A banger is just something you fire in the sky and it goes. Pew! But now they've upped their retarded normie game and they've started doing firework displays. Like on New Year's Eve, they use fireworks. New Year's Eve at 12, you might have to endure fireworks for, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and all your normie neighbours will be outside with their kids and going, hey, that's great, Happy New Year, Moira, and oh, Jesus Christ, and that. But, it's then, it's 15 minutes and they fuck off. It's late. They go back in. Halloween night last year, these motherfuckers outside my father's house started this firework display. It was a boom, boom, boom! Massive things that would almost tremble the walls. You could feel it vibrating the walls and the floor, and dogs are freaking out everywhere. Fucking So I looked out the window and I could see that there was 30 or 40 normies standing outside a house, maybe, 4 doors down from Doomer Dad's house. But there was also other normies standing around the square outside, smoking fags, having a beer or a cup of tea, sort of, oh, look, another firework. So I was like, yeah, fine. So I presumed, as did Doomer Dad, that this shit is it's gonna last for 20 minutes. So I just fucking smoke another joint, just ignore them and continue watching the old snooker or whatever the fuck we were watching. And then it continued going on. and it started getting rhythmic. So you might have three small fireworks, followed by one boom, and then they'd go quiet for maybe a minute, and they'd launch another volley. At this point, I had twigged what was happening, and my heart sank. But I wasn't 100% certain, so I just kept stum. Uh, my father was none the wiser, and he was still tolerant, sitting down smoking his joint, watching the snooker, presuming that it was just about to end. Kept on going on, kept on going on. So we reached the 60 mark, or 60-minute mark, and they're still launching volleys of fireworks into the sky. And my father's getting agitated. He's going like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? And I go, I know, yeah, it's just normies being normies. And I knew what was happening at this stage, but I just didn't tell him because I wanted to see if the penny would drop and he would realize what his normie cunt neighbors were actually doing. But he didn't. So then maybe 90 minutes, still same thing, sort of maybe two small ones, one massive one, then two small ones. And he was getting agitated. He was at the window, sort of going, fucking cunts. Normies being normies, father. We must practice forbearance and patience with our normie neighbours. They mean us no harm. Um, so I was doing that, but he was getting more and more agitated and it was just going on and on. But he still didn't realize what was happening. And what was happening was that the normies in his neighborhood were having a firework conversation with normies in another neighborhood. So I pointed it out to him eventually, maybe on the 90-minute mark, whatever. I was going, listen, old man. And he sort of paid attention and he took his eyes off the snooker and he started paying attention. And he started like three small ones, boom, 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 one big one, boom. And then I go, now listen more closely. And he did listen more closely. And you could hear it. It was fainter, but you could still hear it. Boom, 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 boom. And you can see his face like when he realized what was happening. I was in my fucking element. I was probably having a beer, spun a fucking joint. And I just like when Normie Dad realizes that all of these normies that he says hello to in the morning are fucking retards. You need to know, old man, they're all retards. Don't forgive them. Don't forget. But the penny dropped, and he realized that they were communicating with the other neighborhoods by replicating the firework volleys. Is it communication? Is it a competition? I don't know. The one thing I do know was that these fuck muppets actually continued it for 3 fucking hours. So I got down there and they might have started 15 minutes later. And I stayed there for 3 hours and it went on for the complete duration. Dogs howling. If you're working a bad shift at work and you're trying to get some sleep before your next shift, it would have been impossible if you were poorly or if you had a newborn infant. All of that was out the fucking window because these fucking retards decided that it was okay. They made a unilateral decision that it was okay to completely fuck up everyone's night for north of 3 hours so they could engage in this fucking ridiculous behavior and very expensive too. Some of these big fireworks cost megabucks. So if you were going to do the calculation, they spent thousands of euro on this stupid fucking thing. So I said it to him. I was going, The old man, I call him by his name. His name is Jack. I don't call him Daddy. Daddy. Hello, Daddy. I don't call him Doomer Dad either. I just call him Doomer Dad to you. But in real life, I call him Jack. I just said, Jack, if you want to go out now and have a chat with your neighbours, I'm down. You know, I don't give a fuck if any of them have a problem with me pointing out the obvious fact that they are being a bunch of selfish, childish, retarded cunts right now. Um, he was tempted, but he decided against it. He was going, no, I'm going to talk to them tomorrow. So, yeah, cool. I had to leave because I couldn't listen to any more of it. So I left his house, and they were still there and having their firework conversation with the other neighborhoods, doing all of that stuff. And they had set off so many fireworks that there was a pall of smoke in the neighborhood. So it was kind of difficult to fucking breathe because it was just it looked like fog. They had set off so many of these fucking things. They had created like a Victorian London fog in the neighborhood. And so you have the 40, 30, 40 culprits outside the house. I give them the evil eye. But I would, it's my father's business. If you wanted to go down and have a chat, I'd have gone down with them. But I'm not unilaterally, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to leave this neighborhood. Fuck you all. But all the other neighbours were there and drinking their tea and all happy out. You're all fucking clowns. You're idiots. You're fucking idiots. You're the same guys who ruined snooker. Oh, fucking hell. That never happened on Halloween when I was a fucking kid. A 3 hour bizarre firework display where different fucking neighborhoods are talking to each other via fireworks. And I had to go to a supermarket after this. So I went to the supermarket and you could hear it from other neighborhoods. They were doing the same thing. They were doing the same thing. So, oh God, Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, that was my Halloween. Um, yeah, that was my Halloween. We're going to call this one Halloween, lads. As I said, we're not going to continue. My voice is getting a little bit raggedy, and I've been talking for 1 hour and 7 minutes about Halloween. Yeah, je suis désolé, doomers. It gives me an opportunity to practice my voice, and I'm giving proof of life. I am still alive. So yeah, that was October. There were other things that happened since October, so I will make videos more regularly where I kind of detail the other stuff that happened. We won't talk about any doomer stuff. We didn't even talk about Trump. Really, it's amazing. Really, we didn't talk about Trump, so that's good. Trump free zone. Maybe we'll talk about him. Well, we'll talk about him. So we covered October. So now we have to do no. We might sort of do November and December as a Christmas special. So that will be the Doomer Rant Christmas special, and then maybe in the one about January and February. We will talk about the Tangerine Dream turned Nightmare. That is that fucktard. But yeah, we'll definitely call it quits here tonight because, yeah, I've just been rambling as I am wont to do. But it is good for my voice, and yeah, it's I don't know. Again, I probably, no, no, not I probably. I don't recommend listening to these. Although maybe you had a similar experience on Halloween. Maybe they were out shooting guns or something in your neighborhood, or doing something equally fucking insufferable as these normie twats are inclined to do, irrespective of the nation or culture in question. Normie culture transcends national culture. All cultures are different. Kind of. We kind of eat different cuisine, but they're all fucking normies. And we're going to leave it there for this evening. Pleasure as always, Doomers. Je suis désolé for going on for so long. And the next one will keep it more concise. We'll keep it more concise. I don't know. If you want me to talk about the news, we can talk about the news. And I'm the kind of doomer who will talk about the news if you want me to. But we should probably keep it a little bit light-hearted or confessional or just therapeutic, essentially. Because I know what's happening in the fucking news. I don't necessarily want to be talking about the news, whereas giving out about normies does provide some kind of therapy. So leave it there for this evening, Doomers, wherever you are. I hope you have a splendiferous evening. And as I said, we will talk sooner rather than later. Lighthouse